Hey guys, and welcome back to Brexit. Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in Brexit England, it seems our ex-prince, Prince Harry, has admitted to murdering 25 people when he was in Afghanistan. And the authorities over here are like, you're saying the quiet part out loud. We don't have notches on our rifles. Shut up, of course you do. These people are, these people, what they want, they want you to believe, right, that the other side, right, even though, this wasn't a war, it was just like a beating. They want you to believe that they're the bad guys, they're the savages, and if they got their chance, they'll murder as many of you as they can. When the truth is the other way around. That's what the truth is. Because once you step foot into someone else's country, then you are a terrorist. And that is what's happened in Afghanistan for so many years. Right? The West has been sending terrorists into Afghanistan and murdering the Afghan people. And of course, the Afghan people are fighting back because, these guys will tell you, oh, well, they're the Taliban. And the Taliban are they're Afghan people, the Taliban. So, in the same way how Donald Trump released all of these Taliban guys. And now we're at a situation where their thing is, no, you shouldn't be saying that out. Don't say that out, because that doesn't bode well for us. That makes us look like the real savages we really are. And, it's, for me, right, I look at this and I think to myself, well, because I hear a lot of commentators talking about this and saying, oh, well, Prince Harry, he's explaining, how this has happened. I said, well, you still enjoyed killing 25 people. Because clearly you did, right? Because if you didn't, right, you would have said, you know what, this whole Apache thing is not really for me. Being the gunner on an Apache, it's not really for me. Because remember, he forced himself, right, to go to Iraq. And now he wants us to take compassion for him after he's gone to someone else's country and murdered 25 people. He wants us to have compassion for him because he's explaining it to us in such an educated way. So he wants us to have compassion for him. I say, really? Because, if he had admitted to murdering 25 white people, I wonder if the world, the people in this country, would have been seeing that the same way. Because I just think they would have seen it completely different. And, the only way you can murder 25 people and not really think about it, not have no compassion about it. Because, he might claim that he's got compassion about it, but, I'm like, well, you can't really, because, you've done that over, I think, 3 missions or something like that. So the first time you've done it, if you had any compassion, you say, you know what, this is kind of wrong. Why are we actually doing this to these people in their own country? But that didn't go through his mind, because he just wanted to be one. He wanted to be one of the boys. And now, I don't know whether or not it's playing on his mind. It could be one of those things that's really playing on his mind really hard now, where his conscience is kicking in. You've taken 25 lives, right? It's 20. It could be 25 sons, 25 daughters. 25 husbands, 25 wives. You've done that. And however you try and justify it in your own mind, you know that you was in somebody else's country and you done that. So, compassion from me? No. I think that you're a serial killer, right? And, well, obviously we know that he'll never be brought up on any charges. The Taliban, we go to the Taliban. The Taliban have said that, he's guilty of war crimes. And he is guilty of war crimes because, if it was over here and he was defending, then that's something completely different. But, we can't defend this country from Afghanistan. We can defend it from France. Okay, that's but that's about it. But we can't defend it from Afghanistan. That's just ridiculous. But they sell that to people. They sold that to people all the time. And now, we know that we've got one of our princes who has been allowed to go in a gunship and just murder people willy-nilly. And now he feels bad about it. And welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all the messages sent me. A special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go for all the messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. And I'm starting my new look videos because my videos are going to be no more than 10 minutes now. Okay, so we're just talking about we're just going to go about a couple of subjects, really, two subjects, really. The NHS. The NHS is in such a state after 13 years of the Tories. In fact, today, right, we've got the paramedics that are on strike. So we've got the army who will be driving some of the ambulances, right? But the thing is, right, I think, right, that there's been days already where there's been less cover than there will be over a strike day anyway. Because, at the moment they're telling everyone, don't phone, unless it's really, really, really urgent. But I mean, even people who have had strokes and things like that, it's taking like far too long for them to get to those people. And they've got to, they've got to administer certain drugs. If you've had a stroke, they've got to administer you certain drugs within the space of 2 hours. And the ambulances are taking longer than that to get to people. So, so the state, right, we've got like what's that story? A 92-year-old woman, Vera Murphy, who was left on a trolley in a corridor for 33 hours. Because that's what's going on that's what's going on in our NHS. We've got people who are being treated in cupboards. Children. Parents are fearing because their children can't get medication and treatment. It's, the NHS under the Tories, but, I knew that this was going to happen anyway. There's no, for me, there's no doubt in this anyway. The Tories was always going to destroy. Once they came back into power, they was always going to destroy. And, I'd listened to a woman on the radio this morning, and she said, in 1989, her husband, right, the same thing happened to her husband, and it just happened to be there was a strike in that time. Now, just let me think back. Who was in power at that time? Right? And even with all of that, the Tories did not leave power till what? Till 97. So even back then, in 89, right, this woman said, her husband died in hospital because of the... Even back then. And we've got 1,000 people a week extra dying in the NHS. Over 1,000 people a week extra dying in the NHS. There's a story that I really need to speak about quickly as well, is what happened in America where this 6-year-old child has shot a teacher. And, the American people will still be under the impression that guns are not the problem. But when you've got 6-year-olds who can get hold of a gun and you're telling me that guns are not the problem, because a 6-year-old, right, will believe, that person, shoot them, they'll probably get up and walk away, just like in the cartoons or maybe in some of the games what the 6-year-old playing. Because, if the 6-year-old's got access to the guns, right, then that 6-year-old, right, is probably playing Call of Duty, right, if that 6-year-old can manage to sneak a gun to school. But they think that the guns are not the problem. But, of course the guns are the problem. But these people, they don't care about their children in their country. And we'll just go back to the NHS quickly, because now we're talking about, buying up beds in the private sector. So this is another way they're going to use to funnel money to their friends and their donors, the Tories. Another way they're going to use the NHS money, because, billions and billions of pounds goes out to the private sector from the NHS. Right? So you've got a lot of private companies who are taking billions of pounds out there every single year. And now they're talking about porter cabins as well. And I guarantee you what they'll do, they won't go and buy porter cabins. No. They'll go and rent them. And they'll make sure that they rent it. You'll even have, a lot of Tory, the Tory donors, right, starting porter cabin companies. just so they can get part of the action, because, they're going to start filling the hospital car parks with porter cabins. I just want to talk about a Labour story very, very quickly, because this story, I just looked at and thought to myself, these people, there's something actually wrong with these people. And that is, Labour want people to go to job centres to find jobs. In a video a few days ago, right, I said, right, about Leo Varadkar, right, are we just paying these people to point at the fucking obvious? Is that what these... Right, I think that's what these people get the big bucks for, to point out the fucking obvious, right? I used to go to job centres all the time to get jobs. Used to go in there, take a card down, walk over, right? And then all of a sudden they change. Oh, don't need that no more. Don't need them like that no more. What we need to do is just change them into benefit centres. Don't go and find a job somewhere. Look in the loot. Do you want a job? Look in the loot. This is the level of our politicians. I'm already a minute over. So we're going to speak. We've got two Brexit stories quickly, right? So there's a positive Brexit story, because there's been a breakthrough. The EU have decided, you know what? We're going to share some data with you. So, James, not so cleverly, right, he's rubbing his hands with glee as he say, this is a real breakthrough. We've done it. Look at this, a Brexit bonus. And say, yeah, well, you've been begging the EU, and all of a sudden they said, all right then, we'll do it with you. And Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer are refusing to speak about Brexit. None of them, right, can bring their asses to speak about Brexit, the most important issue in this country, right? But they're pushing everything else. They're pushing everything else to the front pages. They must be so happy, that Harry and Meghan has been all over the front pages for this time, right? Because you know something, right? None of these guys will speak about Brexit because they know how damaging it is, but they're still afraid of the Brexiters. And you think to yourself, grow a pair of fucking bollocks, you fucking arses, right? What the fuck is wrong with these people? That's what you have to ask yourself. Anyway, guys, look, I'm going to wrap this up, because this was only supposed to be 10 minutes or less, and I've still gone 12 minutes. So this, my friends, is By Any Means Necessary. I'm DMC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.